All right, Algebra 1, week 9 of the second quarter. And we're going to talk about exponential graphs versus linear graphs, exponential growth and decay, and then even systems of inequalities. All right, so I did a little bit of this. Okay, so let's talk about graphs of exponential growth. When you are looking at this, the first thing you want to do is figure out the y-intercept. And the second thing is the growth factor. Okay, so that is the process. And so an exponential graph, as we started last week, is a times b to the t or the x. And a is your initial value, your y-intercept, and b is your growth factor. Or we'll see this week it could be the decay factor. So in this particular problem, we're looking for a graph with a y-intercept of 3 and a growth factor of 4, which means if we set up a table and we can use like the y-intercept and then the first point, whatever the y values are, when we divide them, we want to get a constant ratio of 4. So let's see. First of all, this is a y-intercept of 4, so it's not going to work. The y-intercept is 3 here. There's also 3 here. So which one of these will work? Let's see. This one, so they both have a y-intercept of 3. But this one, see the value at, is it at 12? I think it's 112. And so if that's true, if this is 112 and 0, 3, well, that could be good because 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I think C is going to be our graph because it has a y-intercept of 3 and it goes through 0.03 and 112. And so that would give it a growth factor of 4. And so there we go. Next question. All right, let's do one more like that. So we see that the y-intercept is 6 right here. And what is the growth factor? Let's see. So if we go over to 1, and then it goes to 12. So 0, 6 is my y-intercept. Also goes to, oh, I see the growth factor. If you divide this 12 over 6, it's 2. So we want the function 6 times 2 to the x. All right, so 6 times 2 to the x. Where is it? Got it. All right, now this next one, I'm not going to lie. I was going to do this a different way. If you do it my old way, it can get very confused. So what we want to do, so what I was going to do is I was going to graph both of these. They're linear and exponential. And we just talked about a times b to the x. Linear, as you know, is mx plus b. So what we could do is graph them both and see where they intersect, which is what I did the first time. So this is a linear line, an exponential curve, and they intersect. You can see the Desmos. We will use that. But for this particular assignment, we're going to just create 2 tables. We're going to create a linear table and, well, I guess we could just create the exponential table right there. And then this will be a lot easier. So let's read it. The Cozy Car Company created a new model car, especially for Japan and Vietnam, which starts shipping to both countries at the same time. The company had shipped 2 of that model to Japan by the end of the first month. Okay, and the cumulative total of cars they've shipped triples each month. So we know that this is exponential, right? It's tripling. So this will be our exponential. And this is, this is Japan. So Japan is the exponential. So it started with 2, then it tripled. So what's 2 times 3? 6. And then so we're multiplying by 3. 6 times 3 is 18. What's 18 times 3? I just use my head, I'd be faster. 18 times, it's 54. I knew it popped in my head. But now I can just do what's 54 times 3, 162. And what's 162 times 3? 486. Okay. So second month, third month, fourth month, fifth, sixth. So this is what we're going to do, make a table. Now this next situation is going to be linear because I know that we're comparing linear and exponential. The company had shipped 5 and the cumulative total of cars they shipped increases by 11. So 5, then it increases by 11. So what's adding 11? 5 plus 11 is 16. So right now, the Vietnam is winning. At the end of the second month, they have 16. Japan only has 6. So now we're going to add 11 to 16, which is 27. And it's still winning. So at the end of the third month, Vietnam has got more cars. But what's 27 plus 11 is 38. And so fourth month is the month when Japan exceeds Vietnam. And that's what they're asking. What is the first month in which the board will see a cumulative total number of cars shipped to Japan exceed the cumulative total in Vietnam? We see that is 4. Got to make a table for these questions. All right. So make a table, and then it's super duper easy. Try to graph it and do the Desmos. Not that you can do that, but that's super duper not easy. Okay, what's the third assignment? Exponential growth versus decay. Okay. So now we're going to talk about exponential decay. So exponential decay starts high and goes low, slower and slower. So this is decay. And then growth starts low and goes high. How do you know which is which? Growth has a growth factor. So a times b to the x, and b is going to be greater than 1. That's growth. Decay, b, it's a times b to the x, but b is not greater than 1. It is in between 0 and 1. So I see my b here is 0.75. That's decay because it's less than 1. So what kind of a graph? It's going to look like that, decay. And now 1.5. So 1.5, b is greater than 1. It's growth. Oh, super duper easy now. Okay, moving right along. Okay, graphing exponential growth and decay. So what we want to do is we want to put the y-intercept there. This is 3/5. So we want to have a decay factor of 3/5. We're going to use that table here. So we know our y-intercept. 1 is going to have a number here. What is that number going to be? That number is going to be the number such that when we call it x for now, x. So x over 10 has got to equal 3/5, or a constant ratio, right? So when we divide x over 10, we get 3/5. So cool thing about this is cross multiplication. So let's cross multiply. X times 5 is 5x, and 10 times 3 is 30, and so that's 6. All right, so now I know that it's 1/6. Get it? All right, so let's just graph 1/6. I can do that. We could do that. There we go. We did it. Let's do it again. See if this works. Okay. So our y-intercept is 3/4, and we can graph that. It's right there in between 0.5 and 1, and the growth factor is 2. So let's make a table again, and we want to so 0, 3/4, and 1. What? Something. So 3/4. Oh, x divided by 3/4 equals 2 over 1. Okay, so cross multiply. X times 1 is x, and 2 times 3/4. What is that? 2 times 3/4. That's 6/4, which is 3/2. So 1 3/2. Can I graph 3/2 on this thing? Let's see. 1. Hey, 3/2. 1.5. All right. So figure out the y-intercept, use some cross multiplication, and then figure out your second y value. See if you can do that. If you can't, put it in the red section. We'll do it together. Oh, I just did that one. Okay, graphing exponential growth, there's decay. Did I just do 4 problems? I did. So now, systems of equations, systems of inequalities. Oh, I see. Okay, let me pause this real quick. All right, I accidentally messed up the link, but I fixed it. All right, so this is quiz 2 from the systems of inequalities. So try this assignment before watching the video. Which graph represents 3x minus 2y is greater than or equal to 4? All right, so we're going to put this into slope-intercept form. All right, so that would just be, we're going to take that 3x over to the other side. Now, do you remember what happens when we divide an inequality by a negative? Very crucial thing here. We're going to flip, right? How many people remember that? So then the negatives cancel out and we get a positive 3/2. And then 4 divided by -2 is -2. Okay, and it's less than or equal to. So solid line, right? Because it is less than or equal to and is a solid line, shaded below. So where do we see a solid line shaded below? It's B. It's right there. All right, that was easy. Which graph represents the system of inequalities? Okay, so again, this one, all of the lines are graphed right. So we're just looking for the correct shading and correct types of lines. And, we did more than that on the quiz. We graphed them and shaded. But for review purposes, we can go with just remembering that. So we want both are greater than, so both should be shaded above. So these are both shaded above the lines. This is shaded above the blue line, and this is shaded above the green line. See, this one, see, this is shaded below the green line, and then So that's not going to work. Okay. So B is out. And this one is shaded below the blue line. You see that? This shading right here is below the blue line. And this one, now D is just shaded below both of them. So the only correct answer is A. Let's double check and make sure the dashed. So this one with the y-intercept of 1 is dashed. And it should be because that's greater than. This one is solid and it should be because that's greater than or equal to. All right, very good. Find the inequality. So right now I know it's going to be greater than. And then the y on that side, and the y-intercept is 2. And the slope is 1 rise over run 1/2. 1/2 x plus 2. All right. Y is greater than 1/2 x plus 2. Which graph represents the system of inequalities? I feel like I just did this. So we're looking for shaded below and shaded above. 2 dashed lines. Well, this is the only one with 2 dashed lines. That was easy. Which graph represents, all right now. See this one? It's tricky. Because you got to put it in slope intercept form. Because otherwise you could accidentally mess up the negative. All right, I just think it's good practice. So we're going to put that 5x over on the other side. And we're going to divide everything by 3. And we get y is greater than or equal to. There's no flipping of the inequalities. And so we're looking for shaded above with a solid line. Shaded above, solid line. All right, so have fun with that. And exponentials, post in the organizer, and we'll get started and have a great week.